Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. For a little while now, fantasy gaming has taken a little bit of a back seat to that of its sci-fi younger brother. Warhammer Fantasy ruled the roost in miniature gaming, and Dungeons & Dragons was seen as the daddy of all RPGs, and every game that came out was trying to grab a piece of the action. Fast forward a few years and sci-fi gaming was now the cool kid on the block, and fantasy gaming seemed to be seen as a little bit more nerdy and maybe aimed at older gamers. Warhammer 40k was now the dominant game, Lord of the Rings was no longer really supported, and Warhammer Fantasy saw very much decline in sales till eventually it was ended. It was replaced or rebooted with Age of Sigmar, however that didn't have the best of starts either. We now find ourselves in 2019 and things are in a very different place. Now I think we can attribute some of this rise in fantasy to the success of Game of Thrones on TV. It breathed new life into this fantasy genre of geek culture and it became mainstream. No longer was Magic and Dragons the realms of basement games of D&D, it was now on TVs across the globe and in everyone's front room. And with this, fantasy was back in fashion. D&D was now no longer the work of devil worshippers and was seen as an excellent tool to break kids away from electronic gaming. It was also seen as an educational tool for both children and adults alike to help with problem solving, maths, teamwork, creativity, and most of all, social interaction. AOS also recovered from its shaky start and goes from strength to strength. However, it's the new stuff that's coming out that makes me think that this is the year of fantasy. At the end of 2018, Kings of War Vanguard was released by Mantic Games, which is the skirmish version of their Kings of War mass battle game. It's been really well received. I voted it my game of 2018, and Ash Barker of Guerrilla Miniature Games voted it his second best game of 2018. Mantic really have done an amazing job with both the quality of their miniatures and the quality of the rules, so I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about this in 2019. To build on this, Mantic are also working with Red Scar Publishing to create an RPG set in the Kings of War universe. This should come to Kickstarter around August 2019. This not only shows the increased popularity of fantasy genre, but also the increased popularity of Kings of War. Warlord Games are also getting in on the act with their fantasy game, Warlords of Erewhon. I might not have pronounced that right, but it's nowhere backwards. Just watch out for that one. The game is set to use similar mechanics to their flagship game Bolt Action and also joins the Warlord stable alongside Gates of Antares. Rangers of Shadowdeep by Joseph A. McCulloch, who also wrote Frostgrave, has just launched and is also garnering quite a lot of interest. The Legend of Fabled Realms by Foreground was kickstarted last year and is now available at retail, and it goes hand in hand with their beautiful scenery and terrain. Conquest by Parabellum has been talked about for quite some time now, but finally seems to be getting its release in 2019. Conquest sees a new take on the rank and flank fantasy game and has some beautiful miniatures along with a really rich background. A Song of Ice and Fire by Simon Games has also been a huge hit. The miniatures are beautiful and I'm hearing it's a really good rule set, although I'm personally yet to play it. We also can't talk about fantasy games and not mention the resurgence of Middle-earth strategy battles from Games Workshop. This is now a fully supported game again and seems to be gathering a lot of momentum. Even Fantasy Flight Games are releasing a Lord of the Rings board game later this year. With all of this positivity around fantasy games, it is actually sad to see that Fantasy Flight Games recently announced they're no longer supporting organised play for their Rune Wars game. This is a shame, however I think it's a lesson to those who want to release a new game with a new IP that you just need a lot more available at launch. I think Star Wars Legion could have gone a very similar way if it wasn't for the very big Star Wars license attached to it. With all of that said, sci-fi games aren't going anywhere, and Warhammer 40,000 for example just continues to go from strength to strength. However, I feel that 2019 is going to be the year of fantasy gaming and we'll see a big rise in fantasy games seeing the tabletop. So what do you think? Are there any fantasy games you're looking forward to? Is there any games that I've missed from the list that you think are going to be big this year? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.